What's up, squeegee slingers and water-fed pole wiggling wagglers, and welcome back to the Tradman YouTube channel. Today, yes indeed, we are discussing the Moerman Nxt-R rubber. Is it any good? Stay tuned. Okay then folks, so the two main things when we're talking about squeegee rubber that you'll most likely be interested in is price and performance. So without any further ado, let's get right into the price and discuss how much these actually are. Okay, so what I thought we would do is take an 18-inch strip of rubber and compare prices between this new stuff, the Moerman Nxt-R, the original Moerman black Duraflex rubber, and also the Ettore Master Soft rubber, which is the one I normally use. So let's compare prices, an 18-inch strip between those three, and just see what we're looking at. So I've got my notes here in front of me, folks, so what we're going to do is run through quickly the pricing of these. So for an 18-inch piece of standard cut rubber, so that's basically just when it's completely straight at the ends, okay? That's £3.25 per strip for an 18-inch bit of rubber. Now, if you would like the liquidator shaped rubber, so it's cut like that for you, it's £4.10 per strip for an 18-inch piece. So that's an increase of 85 pence per strip if you want it cut on the angles for you. But if you don't want the angles cut and you want it straight, like so, it's £3.25 for a standard 18 bit of Nxt-R rubber. So let's compare that to its previous rubber, which was the Moerman Duraflex. So for the standard Moerman Duraflex rubber, which was a softer rubber, that comes in at £3.42 for an 18-inch bit of rubber. So that is 68 pence less than the blue stuff, just to give you an idea. And finally, Ettore Master rubber. Ettore is quite a popular and well-known brand, and it's quite often one I recommend to people, is Ettore Master rubber. That comes in at £3.48 for an 18-inch bit of rubber. So the Ettore rubber comes in at 62 pence cheaper than the Nxt-R rubber as well. So what have we learned from this? Well, we've learned that obviously the Moerman new stuff, this blue rubber, is that bit more expensive. So let's delve into the performance and see whether that increase in price is actually worth it. So the first thing I noticed about this new Moerman blue rubber was how easy it was actually to get inside the channel. I'll just bring up a bit of footage now so you can see just how easy it was. Now, you'll know if you've used the liquidators that quite often trying to get rubber into the liquidator can be a bit of a challenge, and sometimes you have to use a bit of soap just to create a bit less friction in the channel to get that rubber to glide through and into the channel. But with the Nxt-R rubber, it does actually go in a lot easier. But the downside to that is that there is a potential for the rubber to move. So you will need something like Unger green clips or something like that to pin in the ends to stop your rubber from moving. And one of the problems is that if your rubber moves while it's inside the channel, that then has the potential to create lines and arcs on the glass as well, left behind solution on the window. So we don't really want that. So I'd highly advise that you pin the rubber in the ends with something to get that rubber not to move. But unfortunately, Moerman don't have their own clips or anything like that to help pin the rubber. So you are going to have to buy something like Unger green clips to pin in the end. So I'll leave a link in the description below to Unger green clips. I found them really useful in holding rubber a lot tighter. With things like Ettore rubber, you probably won't really need it. Ettore is quite hard to get into the channel, but Moerman, this new blue stuff, slides around quite easily, a bit too easily for my liking. So just be aware of that. With the rubber moving in the channel, you might have to reposition the rubber a few times during the course of your working day. Now the next thing, once you've got your squeegee rubber into the channel and you go and apply it to the window, the very first thing I noticed when using it on the window is just how much noise and squeaking and friction there was on the glass. Now, just bear with me here, okay? If you've got any dogs in the room, I would get them out of the room because this is probably going to hurt their ears. And for those of you that are listening on headphones, I would turn the volume down a little bit. But here's a little bit of footage of me using, this is supposed to be a worn-in bit of rubber, so not brand new, a worn-in bit of rubber. Just listen how bad the squeaking is from this blue rubber. Here it is. So now you've seen and, well, heard how bad the squeaking with this rubber is. The problem is I know why Moerman have done it. I know that the previous Moerman rubber, people were burning through the stuff like there was no tomorrow. So now they've gone to the opposite end of the scale and they've gone for durability. But unfortunately, rubber is one of those things, you're going to sacrifice one or the other. If you go for performance and glide, quite often that means it's not going to be as durable. If you go for something that's more durable, which is this stuff, then unfortunately the performance starts to get hammered. It's not gliding across the window. It can leave lines and solution behind. And personally, I found it pretty horrible to use. I used it for a couple of weeks. I've got loads of the stuff. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have bought so much. And that's the thing with squeegee rubber. You would expect it after a few days to wear in. You can forgive a new piece of rubber squeaking on a window and a lot of friction. But if a rubber's been used for more than a day or even a few days, you would expect it to start performing and gliding across the window nicely. But unfortunately, this stuff will squeak until you destroy it. It's just, that's the way it is. So what is the squeaking? Well, basically it's just friction on the glass. There's not enough slip, there's not enough glide on the window, so the squeegee rubber is dragging across the glass, which basically means you're not really going to get 100% result on the window all the time, especially in heat. This stuff does not like it on a hot sunny day. It just squeaks like there's no tomorrow. So if you like squeaky rubber, then go for it if you're not too bothered by squeak. But if you want something that's going to glide nicely and not give you a headache by the end of the day, then perhaps this isn't the stuff for you. Now, for those of you that use standard squeegee channels, so not the liquidator, not the thing that was designed originally to go with this, but if you use a standard squeegee channel, you'll probably get on a little bit better. There isn't as much pressure and friction on the ends as there is with a liquidator due to those blue end clips. With a standard squeegee, you will probably get a bit better result using these and not quite as much as a headache as somebody like me who uses a liquidator, who really needs good glide, needs good performance, and unfortunately this just doesn't deliver. What that also means is if you put this rubber inside of a squeegee on a pole tool, so say you're doing some squeegee work up high, you will need the best glide and slip you can possibly get. And unfortunately, this is just not going to give you that. You will find that this will stick on the window, especially if you're fanning the window down on a pole. And if there's any heat or sunlight on that window as well, you're gonna really struggle. So the only people that would probably be okay using this are those that potentially do straight pulls on the window. But those that fan on the window, especially on a pole, you're really gonna struggle using this stuff. So just be aware of that as well. So what's personally my sort of final thoughts and final conclusion on the Moerman Nxt-R rubber? Well, if you're looking for something that glides really nice and is reasonably quiet and performs really, really well on the window, unfortunately I just cannot recommend this product. But if you're looking for something just to be quite durable, something that will last you probably a good few days and you're not too bothered about the squeaking noise and potentially it leaving solution and things behind, then you might get on okay with it. It's more durability this is geared up for than performance and glide, to be honest. So if you're the type of window cleaner that's quite heavy-handed, likes to batter that squeegee around the window, then by all means grab yourself a batch of this stuff. I've actually got a batch here that I'm going to be giving away free to a good home because it's doing my head in. So if anybody wants it, just ping me a message and you can have it. Just before you go, there's finally one more thing I'd like to let you guys hear. Now, I've managed to get a statement from POLZN Blades, aka Mr. Bob Hatt. He is basically the guy behind the liquidator squeegee, very, very highly skilled and professional window cleaner. So Bob's been doing window cleaning for a long time, like I say, and he's been quite involved with Moerman over the years and helping them develop tools. But I would like to read to you his thoughts. Now, this is just a very brief run through of the main points that he said in his statement. I'll put the full thing in the description below if you want to have a read of that. But here's the main points that Mr. POLZN Blades would like to share with us about his thoughts about this Nxt-R rubber. And it reads as follows. Dear Tradman, I have mixed opinion on the Nxt-R rubber. On the one hand, it is more durable than many of the other current brands available, but that doesn't interest me that much. As you know, I have a way of preserving rubbers in use anyway. For me, what's more important than durability is how well the rubber glides. and it contours to the glass and the edges, to the window frames and the seals. How well does the rubber overall perform? How good of an experience do I get with the rubber is more important to me than how long the actual rubber lasts. How do you know if the rubber is a good performing rubber, he asks. Well, when you have a good rubber that glides well in all weather conditions, especially in extreme heat, that is a sign of a good performing rubber. Rubber is measured in shore, and I have always preferred rubbers that are around 50 to 52 shore mark. Harder rubbers are around 55 to 60 shore. Moerman soft rubber, my all-time favourite, is around 50 shore. It contours and glides very well. It performs, if you use the same methods as I do, very well. As rubber is a natural product, it can fluctuate in quality, or if it is stored incorrectly. You sometimes do get bad batches, but generally speaking, Moerman soft rubber can perform very well. The higher the shore, the less supple and less contouring ability the rubber has, but the more durable it should be. However, if that harder rubber requires more force to make it work and perform, then my experience, the rubber will still wear and tear as quickly as soft rubber. So that requires less friction and less force for it to work. So really a hard rubber won't last any longer than a soft rubber for me. So there you go. So that's just part one. Let's see what else he's got to say. Generally speaking, Nxt-R rubber lasts longer than most other rubbers because of the different ingredients it has compared to the likes of regular black rubber. I do not know what other ingredients have been added to this rubber. I was told that it has more natural rubber in it compared to other rubbers that contain a lot of fillers. I think the fillers referred to are the other chemicals that bind the rubber together. It's all very scientific. The Nxt-R rubber feels very different in the hand. You can instantly tell this rubber is different in how it feels and behaves when you pick it up. But that is of no interest to us who want to use it actually in the squeegee. Another noticeable trait is that it squeaks a lot when using it. I can only put that down to the different ingredients it has in it compared to other rubbers. It has more friction than the average black POLZN, Moerman, Nxt-R and Unger rubbers. I've been using this rubber for around 4 to 5 months, every day, and what I have found is that it does not glide as well as the Moerman black rubber does, especially in heat. I found it doesn't work as nice as black rubber on the pole. It can jump and skip over the glass, especially when new. It often leaves a slight film or haze behind in the longer channels, and quite often there's dried white lines or directional change marks left behind on certain panes of glass. Jumping and skipping issues happen in hot weather, and also the rubber can take a while to wear in. It's more noticeable when used on a pole than in the hand. I found I had many more issues with Nxt rubber during the extreme high temperatures that we've had over the last few weeks. I switched back to Moerman soft rubber just yesterday, and now I have no issues at all using this rubber in the heat compared to what I had with the Nxt rubber. No skipping, no sheeting, better glide and control over the glass. And finally, he says, I have used all branded rubbers and many unbranded rubbers over the years, and there's plenty of rubbers that I don't like. I would put Nxt rubber in the middle category of rubber experience. It's not bad, but it isn't great either. Nxt rubber has that extra durability quality, but the issues with the rubber sliding up and down the channel all the time, the lines, the directional change marks it can cause, and the lack of glide and contouring doesn't give it a tried and tested thumbs up from me. So there you have it. That is POLZN Blades' thoughts on the Nxt-R rubber. Pretty much the same as what I've been telling you as well today. It just does not glide very well at all. It's been built for durability. So if that's what you're looking for, then by all means grab a batch. But other than that, personally, I wouldn't recommend this to you. I would recommend things like Nxt-R rubber or POLZN rubber, or even the Moerman soft, as long as you're quite careful on the frames with that one. But there's so many other rubbers out there I would personally choose before I would go with this stuff. So that is personally my thoughts on the Moerman blue rubber. Now I've got to go and try and find somebody who wants this stuff, but hold on, there's somebody passing in the street. Excuse me, do you want some blue rubber? It's going free. I don't think they want it. See you next time, guys. Bye for now.